Hey, General Science. Hopefully you have watched the Lewis structure video by now. You've taken your notes. What I want to show you is on your practice, your Lewis dot structure practice, some of you might be thinking, how am I supposed to do this on a computer if I don't have a printer? Well, I wanted to show you. So we have an example here. I'm not on your practice, but I have an example that's we want to draw the Lewis dot structure for strontium. We also want to figure out the protons, neutrons, and electrons. So this is kind of going to be our example. So if I look at my periodic table, strontium has an atomic number of 38. Now we need to remember that your atomic number is equal to your number of protons. I'm just going to keep this here so we know, which means if I have an atomic number of 38, I'm going to have 38 protons. Now, strontium is also a neutral atom, which is helpful for us because neutral atoms, in neutral atoms, your protons, wow, I can type, protons equal your electrons, which means if I go over here, my number of electrons is going to be 38. Now I need to figure out my number of neutrons. My number of neutrons is determined by the mass number. Now I know this because my mass number is equal to my protons plus my electrons. Whoa, plus my neutrons. Okay, so that's what my mass number is. Now I already know my protons, and I know my mass number from the periodic table. The periodic table says that strontium has a mass number of 87.62. That 87.62 is going to be rounded to the nearest whole number, which means it has a mass number of 88. Now I know my mass number, and I know my number of protons. I need to manipulate my equation a little bit. And what this is going to look like is that my neutrons are equal to my mass number minus my protons. Okay, so in this case, we already said our mass number is 88. We know that the number of protons right here is 38. So I know that my number of neutrons is equal to 50. Okay, so this was just how to solve these three things up here. You've had a lot of practice with figuring this out already. Now, how on earth do I draw the Lewis dot structure? Well, strontium is in column 2, and we know that elements in column 2 have 2 valence electrons because that's the beautiful pattern that comes out of the periodic table. So when I'm ready to draw my Lewis dot structure, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to go to Drawing. I'm going to click New. And it takes me here. This makes it very easy for you to actually draw something and put the electrons where you want it to. So I'm going to create a text box because what goes in the center of my Lewis dot structure? That's right, my element symbol needs to go there. So the element symbol for strontium is SR. Oops. And I'm going to just make that a little bit bigger so that we can see it. Bigger than that. Yeah. Okay. So there's my element symbol in the middle. Now I'm going to go to this button here that's Shapes. I'm going to go to Shapes again, and I'm going to create circles because remember we have Lewis dot structures. Now I know it has 2 valence electrons, and I know that electrons 1 through 4 go on each side of my element. I'm not going to pair them together. So I'm going to create a teeny tiny little circle as best as I can. I'm going to change it so that it's black in the center. Then, so you don't have to draw another circle, you're going to copy and paste. Now, this doesn't let you right click on anything, so you're going to go to your keyboard and hit Control C. Then you're going to hit Control V. And then I can just move it around like this with my arrows. I have 1 electron here, 1 electron here. That is my Lewis dot structure. Remember to hit Save and Close, and it will insert your Lewis dot structure in the problem for you. So that's just if you don't have a proton. If you don't have a printer and want to be able to do this on online, then this is how you can do it. I hope this helps. I miss seeing your faces, and I hope you have a good week.